Today, we are going to be facilitating one in a series of disability policy seminar academies. This one is called Federal Funding Basics for the Disability Community. My name is Kim Mushino. I'm the Director of Medicaid Policy at the ARC of the United States. And today we're breaking down how the federal budget works, what it means for disability services, and what to watch each year if you're an advocate.
Yeah, let's make this simple and useful.
Okay, Mike, take it away. Please introduce yourself and let us know why should our community care about this.
I'm a policy manager at the ARC of the United States. Funding rules decide how much money is going to be provided to keep things running for things like special education, housing vouchers, job programs, and research that improves our daily lives, all of which are very important to our community.
Absolutely. So, Mike, what's the difference between budget and appropriations?
Well, the president's budget is a detailed wish list of what they want for the following year, and it's the way for the president to set his or her priorities. And they deliver this budget to Congress. Then Congress writes a budget resolution, which it is a big picture plan, but it's usually not as detailed as the president's budget. Whereas appropriations bills are they actually set the dollar amounts each year for many of the programs. They have to be passed by both the House and Senate and signed by the president. So in short, the budget is the plan, but the appropriations are the actual payment.
Got it. And what's the difference between entitlement and discretionary programs, and which disability programs are where?
Um, Entitlement or mandatory programs means that if you qualify, the benefits are guaranteed by law. Some examples are Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. The funding will rise and fall depending on the need, and these make up about 60% of the federal budget. Discretionary programs depend on the yearly appropriations bills that are passed by Congress. Congress sets a flat dollar amount every year. Some examples include the special education grants under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and most of our disability employment and job training programs, and housing vouchers, and disability research. They make up about a quarter of the federal budget. So like the rest of the budget will happen even if Congress does nothing. I mean, so the bottom line is that that only Congress can pass laws about spending, and for mandatory spending, they pass the law once, and then that says the spending will keep happening every year. But for discretionary programs, they have to pass a new bill every year in order for funding to keep going.
Got it. And why does that difference matter? Why should families and professionals care about it?
The discretionary programs can be cut, increased, or kept flat every year. So your classrooms, your housing vouchers, and your research funding can feel the change. Entitlement benefits keep going if you're eligible, though keep in mind Congress can change the law later. Knowing which bucket your program is in tells you what to watch and when to speak up.
Got it. Thanks for that explanation. So when does the federal year actually start?
The federal fiscal year starts October 1st and ends September 30th. So you need the funding to be passed and in place by October 1st in order to avoid any disruption.
Okay, Mike, can you please walk us through the usual steps or the timeline for this process?
Yes, the timeline begins in February with the president's sharing his budget, sending his budget to Congress. And then in spring, Congress generally should be passing their budget resolution, which is the the blueprint for it. And then in spring through summer, the committees, like on both sides, on both the House and the Senate side, the committees will start writing their appropriations bills. And then in the late summer to the fall, they're going to hold the hearings, and they're going to have the committee votes, and then the full chamber votes, and then they're going to combine the differences, and then they're going to send the one bill to to the president. Um, well, to break it down a little bit more, like the overall budget is agreed to by the House and Senate, and then those like each subcommittee gets a certain funding amount that they can use on their appropriations bill. And there's 12 of these subcommittees, one for each bill.
Got it.
And then the subcommittee holds the hearing, and they write the bill, and then the full committee votes on the bill. Then the full House or Senate votes. Then they negotiate differences, and then each full chamber votes again on the bill that's the same for both. Then they send it to the president.
Phew, that sounds really complicated, Mike. Does it always work this way?
No, I mean the timeline and process are the way it's supposed to work, but it almost never goes as planned. In reality, it's become very rare for Congress to agree on and pass a budget resolution. And when it comes to the appropriations bills, Congress has only passed all 12 as separate bills 4 times since the 70s when this process was created.
Wow.
And what usually happens is they're going to combine all the several different appropriations bills into either an omnibus, which is a bill that contains all the appropriations for all the discretionary funding in the entire government, or they'll do a minibus, which means they've divided it into like a few of the 12 will be put into a single bill, but not all of them.
Well, that I guess the omnibus bills just making it packaged all together makes it a little bit easier because some members of Congress will have a stake in the game in one bill, but not others. Is that right?
Um, Generally,
Okay. So you mentioned the word continuing resolution and shutdowns. Can you tell us what that is and how it works?
um, a continuing resolution is a bill that it's a temporary bridge. It holds funding at the same level as the previous year, and until Congress they'll set a date and hope to come up with an agreement before that date ends. And if that doesn't happen, you get a shutdown, which is a lapse in funding, where certain programs can stop.
Wow, okay. So, in which appropriations bills do our disability programs show up?
Well, there's three main ones. I mean, there's the Labor, Health and Human Services, and Education bill. That's the biggest one for us. It includes IDEA, special education, developmental disabilities councils, many disability employment and research programs like the NIDLR and the University Centers on Excellence in Developmental Disabilities, and the Health and Human Services operations budget. Then there's a transportation and housing and urban development bill, which includes our housing choice vouchers program, that's Section 8, as well as supportive housing, which is Section 811. And then agriculture bill seems like wouldn't be something that we focus on, but that's what includes the food stamps or the supplemental nutrition assistance program, SNAP as we call it.
Okay, Mike. Are there any other examples you want to talk about of programs that impact people with disabilities?
Well, there's IDEA, which is the special education, and that's discretionary. It's annual grants that supports special ed in schools and your IEPs. Then there's the Developmental Disability Act programs, also discretionary. That's the Developmental Disabilities Councils, Protection and Advocacy, and the USAIDs. These are programs that provide education, research, legal advocacy, and systems change. Then there's employment programs under the Department of Labor. Those are also discretionary. And then there's housing vouchers, also discretionary, that help people pay rent. Disability research programs are also discretionary. And then under entitlements, there's Social Security, which provides retirement and disability insurance, and that also includes supplemental security income, or SSI. And then there's Medicaid, which provides health coverage and long-term support and services such as home and community-based services. It's also an entitlement.
Thanks for breaking that down, Mike. Sometimes Congress has used a process called reconciliation. Can you explain what that is in simple terms?
Reconciliation is a special process that allows tax and spending changes to happen And under these rules, the Senate can pass it without their usual 60 vote requirement, so they can pass it with a simple majority, like 51 votes usually. And it's not usually going to be used for your discretionary programs. It's generally going to be used to change tax levels or rules for entitlements.
Got it. So if they wanted to save money in, say, Medicaid, they would actually have to change the Medicaid law because it's
Correct.
not an annual appropriations process. Got it. Thank you. So what can people do, Mike, to advocate for our services and supports and all these programs that you talked about?
Well, the first thing to do is know your calendar. The bills are going to be written in the spring or summer, so it's best to get your asks into Congress before that, and make sure you know the name of your program and bill. So when you call or send a message, say, please support, say, IDEA, which is in the Labor HHS Education Bill. And then you want to tell your story and add numbers. So say, here's how much adding this much more money to IDEA will help with my child's IDP. And then after things pass, you follow up. You got to thank the offices, tell them about the outcomes, and stay in touch with the staff.
That's really good advice. Okay, Mike, let's do a quick recap. Who makes the funding decisions?
Congress writes and passes the funding bills, and the president signs them into law.
Can entitlement programs like Medicaid or Social Security ever change?
They don't depend on yearly appropriations, but Congress can change the law to cut the funding or increase it.
Does a continuing resolution mean new cuts?
The continuing resolution usually holds funding at about the same level as the last year.
Got it. Okay, so where should our viewers look for how to follow and advocate for funding or appropriations for programs important to them?
You go to, I would say the main one is to go to the House and Senate appropriations websites. So you go to appropriations.senate.gov or appropriations.house.gov. And then I would also recommend the websites of the Departments of Education, Housing and Urban Development, and Health and Human Services, or Labor. And each one of the websites is going to have a budget page where you'll see their budget justifications. And you can also rely on updates from the ARC and your state and local chapters.
Got it. Thanks so much, Mike. Thank you so much for breaking this complicated process down for us today. And thanks to the audience for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Any final words?
Remember, budgets are values in numbers. Your stories help set those numbers.
Got it. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everyone.